Hi, Lois.
Hello, Haley. Good morning. What a
Welcome to
great,
episode 13.
oh my gosh. And it's November 13. Kind of maybe
Yay.
if it's a double negative, it makes it a fabulous
It's
episode. Maybe that's,
auspicious. It's auspicious. Either way.
that's
Either
right.
way.
And it's our first episode of our second season. I can't believe we're on season 2 of our
I know.
talks. It's
Oh, we have such
amazing.
a great lineup of guests for season 2, starting with today's guest. I don't know about you, Lois, but everybody that I talk to these days is in budget season or planning season. I know we're in that season as well here at
Yes, we
ISG.
are.
And one of the things that everybody's talking about, of course, is AI. And what are we doing about AI? And what value are we delivering with AI? And how can we capture market share with AI? And so our guest today is a perfect person to have in conversation about that topic. She was our AI champion for our 2025 Women in Digital Awards in APAC. So I'm excited to welcome her, Gayatri Thakkar. If we can bring Gayatri to the stage. Hi, Gayatri.
Hello, good morning,
Nice
or we
to
should
meet
say good
you.
evening to you.
Yeah, good morning. Nice to meet you both.
Thank you
So it's
so much for joining us. We're so excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for inviting me to the talk. Yeah.
well, I'll let
Awesome.
you two have a chat and I'll join you later.
Thanks, Lois.
Thanks, Lois.
So, Gayatri, let's just jump right in, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
You, after 13 years at eInfochips, you decided to become a founder and you founded Inferenz AI. And I'm wondering what that journey has been like for you and what sparked the idea to found Inferenz and what gave you the courage to take such a bold move.
Yeah. So in my journey at InfoChips, I was always working as a data and AI architect, solving real problems. Part of my journey was for 5 years. I was in US, working at customer side. And my husband was always like, let's go back to India and raise the kids close to family. And I was like, no, I love my work. And then one day I told him, let's go back, but I want to start a company. He said, okay, whatever you say. So we decided that we'll come back and I'll start the company. But it's a long story back in time. Like the decision was not taken that day that I want to start a company, right? Well, I grew up in a small village in Gujarat. While I was a school kid, I saw a picture of founder and CEO of Biocon, who is a Kiran Mazumdar, as a school kid, and she's a self-made billionaire, and I was inspired, and that day, you know the story of law of attraction and manifestation. So that was the first spark many years back. And then while I joined InfoChips, I always admired the founder of InfoChips, Pratul Shroff. He came back from US. He used to work at Intel. He came back from US in Gujarat and he started InfoChips, right? So that was the second thought in my mind already. But then I was so busy working. And that day I took the decision that, okay, I want to start now.
So inspired by role models.
Yes, absolutely.
So your company has grown to more than 200 engineers in just a few years. And I know you've made it a personal priority to focus during that growth period on diversity and inclusion and something that you call AI awareness. So talk a
Mhm.
little bit about why that has been a priority focus of yours and what have been some of the benefits to the business of having that focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll tell you like how we bring diversity to business first, right? So what are the programs we ran? We hired women who were having career break, who are having maternity breaks, the people with disability, and by the way, they are great performer. They have very good talent. They are blessed. The third is like hiring students from the colleges, fresh graduates, and training them on technology and industry expertise. So these are the different ways we got diversity in the company, right? How it helps is more of a like it creates the culture of growth. It brings the commitment and loyalty for the company, right? In this era when there is a lot of attrition and all, right? So it brings real loyalty to the company. And then it also how it really helps is it brings different perspective, to your business. It solves real challenges. You get amazing problem solving skills from the people across the different areas, right? So yeah, that's how it is helping us to grow.
I love what you said about creating the culture of growth. That is, I think, something that we often don't consider when we're thinking about diversity and inclusion is the underlying culture that having different perspectives and having that diversity can create. So I love it when you said that. Um, you have, as part of your founder role, forged partnerships with some of the biggest brands in our AI frontier, including AWS and Snowflake and NVIDIA. And so I'm wondering how it's been for you to tap into those networks and what advice you might have for our listeners about how to leverage partnerships to help achieve their aspirations.
Mm-hmm. So the entire industry is moving on partnership. If you see the big brands, they are collaborating with each other. Recently, you must have seen data this DBT, what DBT is doing and all, right? Fitran. So a lot of big companies are also moving towards partnership, right? Um, but and you know what, partnership brings a real power. 1 + 1 = 11, not just two, right? uh, but the advice is the partnership won't get the results on day one. Okay, it does not mean that you partner and you will get the business. So what we have to do is like nurture the partnership, invest in it, work really hard towards the first win, and then get the repetitive win in a way that they don't forget you. You will be in their mind, and then they will help you to scale the business. So that's what I believe about the partnership. Yeah.
And I think with patience comes a little impatience, maybe, is the
Yeah.
other side of that coin. So, talk a
Yeah.
little bit about how you overcome challenges in those partnerships, because I'm sure working with such large organizations across a range of capabilities, you've had some challenges. So, talk a little bit about how you overcome that, how you face those challenges, and how other people can approach maybe when things aren't going so well in those partnerships.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't go well for sure. It never went well for me also. So it's just the persistence, and doing thing right way. And I believe like doing right thing for your customer, and then while you're working with the partner and solving the real problems for the customer, and you really generate the outcome, business outcome for your customer, your partner also starts valuing you. They also see that what you have been doing, what problems you are solving, and then they also start loving you for the work you have been doing. Yeah.
One of the phrases that you use often is a problem first approach. So I'm wondering what that means to you and what does that look like as you're working with your clients? What does a problem first approach mean?
Yeah. So see, problem first means you must have seen that a lot of AI pilots are failing, right? The reason is that people try to fit AI anywhere and with any, like I want to use agentic AI, but then what problem agentic AI is solving for you, right? That's very important, right? So problem first means first defining what are you trying to solve out of using AI? It's not about which technology you want to use. Today it's AI, tomorrow it will be something else, right? So far it was machine learning, then deep learning, then generative AI, then agentic AI, But then it is important that what problem are you solving? What value are you delivering to the customer? What business outcome? Whether it will give you the measurable outcome or not, that's very, very important to define before we start solving the problem and jump into the technology and solution. So that's why I always say to my team also that we will go with the problem first approach. Like, what problem are we solving first? Let's sit together and brainstorm on the problem first, and then we will see what technology solution is applicable. Maybe AI is not applicable everywhere, right?
There's such a tension there, I see, in the marketplace between people, companies who want to, let's double down on AI and we want to be AI first and AI centered. And I think grounding those decisions and those strategies in what problems we're trying to solve is really the right approach and the most effective one. And do you feel the same way?
Yeah, and what value we are delivering at the end of the day by solving problem and by using AI.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about that. So you are a champion of practical and ethical AI. And so I'm wondering, what does that mean for you? And what can we all learn from your experience about appropriate guardrails as we
Mhm.
are on this new frontier of now agentic AI? And as you said, all the technologies that came before. What
Mhm.
advice do you have for us about those guardrails?
Yes, yeah, I'll tell you. So ethical AI should be practical enough, and it should solve real business problem. First of all, that's the first thing, right? But then ethical AI is very, very crucial. And what ethical AI mean for me is transparency, accountability, auditability. It should be ethical, privacy control. So those are all the parameters. I see it should be taken care well before, while doing the designing of your solution. It should be taken care of. So that's how I mean ethical AI, ethical way of doing AI. Yeah.
Yeah. And how should our audience be thinking about championing those guardrails as you have done? How can they make
Mm-hmm.
their voices heard as champions for ethical and practical AI?
Yes. So I'll give you an example, right? See, we work in a healthcare industry, right? More focused towards like solving real problem for the agencies, home care agencies, hospitals, providers, right? So there are some areas where I would say we should not be using AI where it is not appropriate. It's a government website. It's not allowed to use AI, agentic AI or browser agent there. We should not do it, right? While you are using AI, we have to make sure that guardrails are in place and privacy control are managed to be compliant with the HIPAA and all the other compliance of all the regulatory industries, right? So these are some of the examples, like how we should make sure that you are making sure of the guardrails, you're making sure that you are doing things right way. First of all, while using AI and creating impact, bringing efficiency, we should not forget about being right, doing right thing, and that's what is ethical. Yeah.
And that's a part of the culture, right? That
Yeah,
has to be
absolutely.
embedded in everyday thinking, which creates culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, you mentioned that Inferenz works primarily with US healthcare companies today, but I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on where AI is going to be having an impact in the near term and midterm in other industries? Where can our listeners look to the new wave of innovation with AI from an industry perspective?
Yeah. From industry perspective, I would say customer experience or patient experience for us in healthcare is the main thing, where it is
Hmm.
easy to have adoption of AI. That's the one thing. Second is like there are a lot of back-end workflows in your organization which are easy to automate using AI with the human in the loop. So more of like where you are giving power to the human with the use of AI and augmenting them and then helping them doing better at their job. Those are the areas where there will be larger adoption happening.
So can you share some examples of that? I know that you're focused in healthcare, but maybe give us some examples of where you've seen value being driven by augmenting human interactions with AI.
Yes, I would definitely. So if I give you example of healthcare, where AI can be helpful is like onboarding the patient, right? Where someone has to make calls, fill larger forms, the AI agents can do that job very easily and can give very good experience as overall, right? That's a one thing, right? So second thing is where you have automated workflows of like matching the patient to the caregiver, where we have implemented agents which can match and do the job easily. Second is the area where we have worked on, right? So the third is more of a like where you need to do the pre-authorization, right? With the insurance, pay with the payers, right? So those are some of the areas where it is a manual task which is repetitive, and still the intelligence is required. It is dynamic, but then AI agents can help you solving those problems. So these are the practical use cases of AI in healthcare where it can be implemented and it can really improve the efficiency and experience.
And it sounds like some of those applications and use cases could be cross industry, not
Of course.
necessarily, just in healthcare.
Absolutely. For insurance companies, there are a lot of workflows like for validating the claim and all, right? So those are the things where there is a context of the organization, there is a knowledge, of organization, but then this LLM can help you, identifying what is the intent, what needs to be done next, and you can beautifully create the orchestrator which will automate a lot of the work in insurance industry, in financial services industry as well. It will help you to automate a lot of workflows there as well.
Yeah, I remember when ChatGPT first launched. And one of the things that I heard often people talking about was how the US healthcare system in particular is so ripe for disruption by democratizing this data and putting natural language interfaces in so that people have better access uh, to information, but also advice. And to your point, transparency and accountability, I think,
Mm-hmm.
are very, very important as we move forward. But certainly, healthcare is an industry that is ripe for that disruption. So it's exciting
Absolutely.
to see the great work that you're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
So think a little bit about, I know you talked earlier about your role models, which was great. Think a little bit about mentoring and learning and development, and give our audience some advice about how to strengthen their skills in AI, how to strengthen their storytelling around AI,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you can think about it, some of the things that they can potentially avoid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So we are in the era where there is tremendous knowledge available online. Lot of websites where you can learn, lot of AI courses, very huge community, right? Where you can really deep dive, you can get expertise and have really personal and professional growth. But the challenge is like how to curate that material, how to implement that in your projects, right? So what I would advise is that your learning should be focused, you know and you need to practice it while you are reading or watching, because just reading and watching will confuse you, and then it will not motivate you to learn more, right? So just to get the confidence, we need to practice it a lot, right? That's the one thing. And second thing I would say, like, avoid is that don't delay the things, right? Start today. If not now, then when you're going to learn, right? So reskilling is all about like starting today. doing it daily, and and then having the persistence. Like people start and then leave also very easily, but then having the persistent effort, and then doing it daily, practicing it makes it more important.
Does AI change the way that we mentor people or the way that you mentor people? Does it change the mentor-mentee relationship at all? Can it be additive? What are your thoughts on mentorship in this time?
I think, see, there are ways the AI change the learning, right? You can have a personalized learning for any individual. There are AI tools which creates curated personalized learning platform, right? But at the end, there is no difference in mentor-mentee relationship. It's all about human values, giving back to society. While I said about Pradul Shroff, right, that he's my mentor, advisor in my company as well, I learned from him is that creating leaders for tomorrow. That's what he wanted to do, right? And I said, can I steal your idea? I want to do the same, creating leaders for tomorrow, which is maybe trademarked by you, but then I want to use it, right? So it's like the personal values and human connection doesn't change by AI. AI cannot change that, right? It's far away to understand the emotions. There will be a time it might happen, but then for now, mentor-mentee relation is different. It's emotional bonding as well. Yeah.
Gayatri, I think that is a perfect place to leave the conversation. And we always have a tradition here of our prior guest posing a question for our current guest. So I'm excited. I've got a question for you from Muthu S., who was our prior guest. Muthu wants to know, I hope she's listening, you founded Inferenz AI at a time when AI was just beginning to move from hype to real enterprise impact. What was the spark behind starting this journey, and how has that vision evolved since then?
Yeah. So as I said, like I started working in AI in 2015, right? By solving the problems like predictive analytics, using predictive analytics like customer churn prediction, retaining the members. Those are some of the machine learning problems I worked on in early stage while machine learning was so popular, right? Then era came when we were working on deep learning, and we got the problems to solve. Like I was working for an e-commerce company where we implemented the solution where you can search the furniture using the images from the millions of products images available, but you want something in shape, in color, in material, and you can search. That was my first deep learning project, right? And since then, I was like, it was fascinating to see AI evolving, and I was learning a lot and reading the research paper every weekend, and I love doing what I do. I always love data and AI, right? So when we decided to start the company, we thought AI is the focus, right? We did not know that time that it's going to evolve and generative AI will come and agentic AI. It was very early stage, right? All Google model was there, but then it was early stage. There was not so much practicality of AI in terms of agents and Gen AI and all. But then in last 6 years, it evolved in a way that it became more fascinating, like learning all the evolution of AI, like when generative AI came, then agentic AI, and now I feel like more excited, how we can solve the real problem, how we can have better human life by solving the real problem, which is purpose built, purpose driven, when you can really impact the industries by using AI and agentic AI. So that's how it evolved in last 6 years.
I love the enthusiasm. It's clear that you're passionate about the work that you're doing. So the second
Absolutely.
part of our tradition is, I know you've got a question for our next guest. Our next guest is Alex Carter. She's going to be our guest on December 4th, and she is the winner of our Rising Star Award in Europe for 2025. So what question do you have for Alex?
So this is my personal question, which I want to learn from her. What would be the strategic advice she would give to the companies where in the era of AI, where where or customers are more excited, to implement AI, but they are cautious of risk also. What is the advice to close strategic, complex, big deal for us, and next would be like how you build the trust with the customer with the value driven approach, which would help us. Yeah. Thank you.
What a great question. Maybe let's bring Lois back in.
What a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. And I must say, your work in healthcare, it's an area, as you said, so many areas for improvement or for how AI can really help the patient, right? Have a much more less stressful sort of engagement and be able to get care. So I just feel better knowing that you're doing it, you're on the job, you're looking at it with the problem first. So that was really great to hear. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much, Louis and Hallie. It was nice to be on this show, and I really appreciate you giving us an opportunity to talk about the company and myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I hope everybody joins us on December 4th when we'll have Alex Carter in a conversation with Lois. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.